All right, guys, welcome back to the TCM podcast, or I guess just TCM, because right now it's not a podcast episode. I am Michael Pagano, as you already know, but if you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe if you like Christian content. That's mainly what this page is for. However, this is going to be a little bit different than normal. As many of you know, I'm going through some disputes with TikTok right now, as I've been permanently banned for live streaming, and hopefully that gets resolved. But I wanted to go ahead and say, you know what? Now it's time to do the things I've been saying I was going to do on YouTube. As many of you know, I've been talking about making the push of really doing most of my content over here. And I've just been honestly busy, lazy also. That plays a part in it. So I wanted to go ahead and start doing that. And I wanted to start with reacting to music again. So I only did this once. I did it to a KB song. I believe I did it with his song Lincoln. And I got a lot of great feedback from that. And people said they wanted to see more of it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. And this is it. We're going to finally kick it back off right now. Now, I'm going to kick it off with a song that I already know. However, I want you guys to comment below if there's things you want me to check out. Maybe there's Christian artists you want to introduce me to, and I'll dive into that journey with you, because I love Christian music. I love Christian rap, especially because I grew up in New Jersey in the, the Biggie time and the State Property time. Like, I grew up in rap culture and hip hop culture. So I definitely would love to explore some new stuff, but I'm a huge Bizzle and KB fan. So that's definitely something that you're going to see me talk about sometimes. And the reason I wanted to start here with Bizzle in the Devil's Work reaction, I just want to be honest with you guys. This might be the greatest written song inspired by scripture that I've ever heard. And I know that it's not like a song that you're going to hear and you're thinking about worshiping, but if you really listen closely to what he says, we're going to break it down. Let's just say that. Now, if you've never heard this before, I want you to hear it. That's why I'm doing this. And if you have heard it before, I want you to hear the things that you might have missed. So that's also why I'm doing this. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to be doing a lot of stopping because I don't know how the copyright rules work here. I'm not really interested in monetizing, so I could care less if the video gets demonetized. I'm just here to make good content so you guys can have fun and we can listen to some music together. So let's go ahead and bring it up and let's give it a listen.
Conversation with you, get up, but I see you got going through some things.
I'm sorry, guys. I was having an issue right there with my audio on my side. So let's try it again now.
Joiner, I hear you going through some things and it's getting tough, but I see you got my word with you. It's a shame how the pain only thing make you pick it up.
So I want to take a moment and say that if you haven't seen the Joyner Lucas video called Devil's Work, I would actually recommend you pause this and go watch that. I thought about reacting to that too, but I don't want to hear it again. However, it is a major part of this story. So it starts off by saying, Joyner, I see you going through some things and it's getting tough. The reason he's saying that is in the Joyner Lucas video, it's about him in church and he's basically making a song to God. And it's called Devil's Work because at the end, he's basically saying, is this your plan? Is this what you're doing? Or is this the devil's work? And the song is basically about Joyner Lucas just snapping at God in one of those moments where people get into a low point and we're angry and we're yelling out to God saying, why'd you do this? And why'd you do that? So Bizzle's responding from the point of view as God. Now, initially, I probably was just like some of you that are like, that seems a little blasphemous. And when you do choose to respond as God, you have to make sure you're careful. But I will say this. I believe Bizzle did justice to it. He kept it 100% scriptural. It's very much attributed to the book of Job. In fact, you're probably going to hear it and kind of tell. So I just wanted to emphasize that. So let's keep going.
And you complain when it rains just once, but I never hear thanks for that 100 days with the sun. Could have ran to me first, ran to the drink first, and now I gotta have this conversation with you when you drunk.
So some of you that follow me on TikTok know I've actually used this many times to respond to comments sometimes to the ignorant atheists because it's powerful. It's powerful. He says, I see you got my word with you. It's a shame how the pain, the only thing that makes you pick it up, right? And that's true for some people that call themselves Christians. They don't even touch the Bible until they need something, A lot of people only open up the Bible for financial reasons. You're struggling financially, or you're looking for something about how to get blessings from God. And then even the enemies, the opponents of God, will open up the Bible only to attack him. And it's exactly true to that people have such a problem with God, but they don't want to take the time to know God.
Pick it up and you complain.
Then he says, you complain when it rains just once, but I never hear thanks for the 100 days with the sun. And I was just talking about this the other day. I was on a live stream, I think, or maybe it was a phone call. But I said, isn't it crazy how atheists will always blame God for that one thing in their life that happened, but they won't give God credit for anything else? What I mean by that, I'll get questions from atheists sometimes like, well, my aunt got cancer. Why did God give my aunt cancer? And you look at these people, and what they're doing is they're saying that that's from God. God did that. He chose my aunt. He said, this person, cancer, check mark. There's no way that there's any consequences of smoking or the food we digest, the atmosphere, the environment of what's going in our systems. None of that. However, if that same person had success in their job, I didn't hear them saying, why did God do that? They don't attribute the good things to God. They don't attribute their success. That's all me. It's all me. That success is all me. They don't attribute the good blessings in their life. But if something bad happens, why did God do that? Is their argument.
When it rains just once, but I never hear thanks for that 100 days with the sun. Could have ran to me first, ran to the drink first, and now I gotta have this conversation with you when you drunk.
He said you could have ran to me first. Because what you did is you're angry. You don't read the scriptures. You only complain to me. You never come to me in thanks. And then even now, when you're at this pit of your depression, you didn't run to me right away. You went to the bottle. And now I got to have this conversation with you while you're drunk.
See, before I even start addressing it, I don't owe you any answers, so don't get used to it.
I love that simple but really straightforward point is God does not owe us any answers. But however, we do see in scripture where there are times where God gives them. But you ever notice that when God does give them, they never are comforting. They're actually more of a punch in the face, like you shouldn't have asked, because now you're finding out. Because like, look at Job, for example, and what we're about to see right here. Not saying you shouldn't have asked in like a negative way, but it's like you thought you was about to hear something else. God is not about to apologize for anything he's done. He has made no mistakes. Everything he's done is fine. If you challenge him, that's because you think you're better than God.
But I feel like you being genuine. But the truth is you can't handle the truth, Lucas. But you kept it a buck, and I love that. If I kept it a buck back, could you take what you stepping in? I know it's other folk that feel like you. So first thing I'ma do is let you know who you questioning.
So when I first heard this, I actually didn't notice that he was speaking from the point of God until right about here. Right. Because I'm listening like, is he? No, he ain't doing that. And then I realized he did. And he's going to, basically say it in the next bar. But right here, some filler bars, obviously nothing real strong here, but it's an important message saying like, even though I don't owe you an answer, it feels like you are being genuine. It feels like you sincerely want to know. So I'll give you the answer. However, before I do give you the answer, let me explain to you who I am. And this is something, like I said, Bizzle is very scriptural in this. Whenever you look at the Old Testament, when God is rebuking, what do we see God doing? Reminding people exactly who he is. I love in Isaiah when he rebukes the false idols and he makes it clear, like, your idols can't tell you the future. They can't declare what happens from the beginning and the end. They can't create. They can't do anything. That is me. That's me. I'm the one who makes it rain on the just and the unjust alike. It is I who raises the sun into the sky, that puts the mountains where they're at, that lays the seas. Like I am he. So he always makes it known exactly who he is. And so we see Bizzle taking that exact route with, before I answer your question, I'm going to make it very clear with who you are talking to. Now, another thing I want to point out that I love is that he said, it seems like you're being genuine, but the truth is you can't handle the truth, Lucas. I do meet a lot of people. As someone who has a large platform, I think I'm up to like 370,000 followers over on TikTok. I get a lot of people that ask me questions, and sometimes they can come off as trolly questions, but you could tell they're being sincere. Their wording of the question is based on their environment that they've grown up, the culture, the people that have said things to them, what they know about Christianity. But you can see the sincerity in them, and you want to try and give them the answer, but you know sometimes that the answer is not going to be the one they want to hear. Let's go ahead and hear how he goes.
I am the God who created the earth. I knew you start feeling yourself, so I made you from dirt.
I'm sorry if I'm going to keep stopping it. Don't worry. I'm going to let it play and then we'll go back because there's so many bars here. He said, I am the God who created the earth. I knew you'd start feeling yourself, so I made you from dirt. That's more of a punchline, right? So that's just a punchline right there. But it's bringing truth to it, like you're just clay. And that is important also. Again, scripturally, one of the emphasis that God constantly reminds us is that we are clay and he is the potter. But let's let him talk a little bit and then we'll go back.
Feeling yourself, so I made you from dirt. Ain't no battery in your body, so who making it work? I made the earth perfect, it's y'all making it worse. Who put the seed in the fruit, put the fruit in the tree, and that tree in another little seed but me? Then turn around and made you the same way after that. For you was in your daddy's sack and his daddy's sack.
Okay. All right. Ain't no battery in your body, so who's making it work? Stop right there. God is challenging, like, do you know why you're breathing every day? Do you know why your heart continues to beat? That's me. I'm the reason why your heart beats every day that you wake up. And this is true. We look in James chapter 3. In James chapter 3, I believe it is, when James says that those that say tomorrow we will go here and do such and such, you are boasting in your arrogance. Do you not know that your life is but a vapor, here and gone like that? Therefore, one should say, if the Lord wills, tomorrow we will go and do such and such. God is the very reason you wake up every day, and that is something we should be thankful for. And then he says, I made the earth perfect. It's y'all making it worse, because in that Joyner Lucas rap, some of the things that Joyner pointed out, he said, basically what's going on in this world. He goes into a big tirade of why you take my mom from me, why you take my friends from me. He goes into a big argument he goes into this moment where he starts saying, you should have took this person rather than this person. Like, take Donald Trump, give us back Tupac, take this person, give us back this person. So that he goes through all that. And it's really this, like, why do you let the world be as messed up as you let it be messed up? And here we see Bizzle responding from the point of view of God, saying, I made the earth perfect. It's y'all making it worse.
Battery in your body, so who making it work? I made the earth perfect, it's y'all making it worse.
He said, who put the seed in the fruit, put the fruit in the tree, and that tree in another little seed but me? And again, it's a very basic bar. But when you're thinking about Bizzle taking the place of God in this discussion, and it's Joyner Lucas having this discussion with God, it's powerful that God is saying that big tree that you go outside, you see these massive trees. It started as that, and God placed it in the seed and put this tree in another little seed but me. That's me. I did that. And then he goes on saying,
the seed in the fruit, put the fruit in the tree, and that tree in another little seed but me.
Then turned around and made you the same way after that. And if you think about it, yes, he said, before you was in your daddy's sack, in his dad's sack. Excuse me. So again, he's using that same concept, saying, I am the one that created everything. The things that you look at and you couldn't even imagine creating, and you don't even know how they exist sometimes. I took that and I placed it in the seed of the seed of the seed of the seed. It's all mine. It's all mine. Again, he's starting this off by declaring, who am I? Because when you read Job and when you read Isaiah and when you read these different moments where God is making it clear to someone who's challenging him or questioning him, or just anytime that God is really asserting who he is, the main thing he does is he demonstrates, you know who I am. Who was there when I created it all? Where were you when I stretched out the foundations of the world? Tell your gods, declare the end from the beginning, right? So he challenges them to be like, do you even have the right to stand at the same level as I am to even judge my actions?
Turn around and made you the same way after that. For you was in your daddy's sack and his daddy's sack. I am the one that put breath in your lungs and created the same mind that you question me from. You were lost, I'm the way, I'm the potter, you the clay, and now the clay got something to say. Okay.
He said, you are lost, I'm the way, I'm the potter, you're the clay, and now the clay got something to say. Okay. Think about that. And before that, he said, I put the breath in your lungs and gave you the same mind that you question me from. And this is basically something that you've heard me say many times if you've been on my live streams. If we were capable of truly understanding God, then he wouldn't be God. If my little 3-pound brain floating around inside my head was capable of understanding the infinite creator of all, the thing that created this mind, That's not much of a God there. Right. So he's saying, I put breath in your lungs. We know that from Genesis chapter 2, breathing air into the breath into our lungs. And then I gave you that mind, the same mind that you question me from. And then he says, you're lost. I'm the way. Because without me, you're lost. You have nothing, but I'm the way. I'm the potter. I'm the one who formed you. You're the clay. And now you have something to say. Okay.
You can never check me, so check this. Your standard for right and wrong is me. I am the checklist, I am right. Wrong is whatever you're left with. I am life. You without me is what death is.
Oh my goodness. If you've never heard this before, I hope you're gonna go after this and listen to it straight through. I keep stopping it. I'm sorry. It's just, he says, you without me is what death is. What does it say in John chapter 1? It says, in him was life. In him was life. And the Greek there isn't just like in you is life, like my heart is beating, like there's a living thing that I am. No. What's being said here is that in him is the essence of life. And it's true. He is the life. If you don't have God, you are dead in your sins. You are dead in your trespasses. You are dead. This is why Jesus refers to people as dead. He says, let the dead bury the dead. He says, you without me is what death is. What did he say right before that? Hold on. Oh, I am the checklist. I am right. Wrong is whatever you're left with. And that's an important thing that I don't think enough atheists understand. You see, they love to judge God by a standard in which they can't prove. Because without the existence of God, there is no standard of morality beyond our own subjective reasoning. What do I mean by that? Think about this. And this isn't even something that people should struggle with. It should be common sense here. How do we determine what is objectively right or wrong? You must appeal to something beyond yourself, or else it's not objective. Even in an atheist society, they have to appeal to something beyond themselves, like the government. Well, what happens when you stop the buck at the government? You get Stalins, Hitlers, and tyrants like that. However, there's something above God, government, and that's God. And God sets the standard. If there is no God, then morality is 100% based on individuals' thoughts, subjective thoughts. Even if a collective come together, it's still their subjective thoughts, because there's no way to differentiate which human has more right in determining morality. You can't say, well, we over here said that this is evil, but who cares what you say? If I have 5 million people here and 5 million people here, and these people want to eat these people, but these people are like, no, that's wrong. That's evil. How do they prove to these people that it's wrong to eat them? Now, you might think that's laughable and say, really? Is it really hard to explain why it's hard, why it's wrong to eat someone? And the funny thing is, people saying that are still benefiting by the morality that God has established. Like, FYI, I just want to share something for you guys. If you hate Christianity and you're still listening for some strange reason, even if you think that you have no influence from Christianity and you don't need God for morals, you are most likely raised in a Western society or something influenced by Western society, which is founded on biblical principles. The United States laws are based on Judeo-Christian values. So yeah, you're right. You might never have read the Bible and you feel like you have good morals, but your morals were still influenced by your culture, which is influenced by biblical truths. You don't believe me? Go somewhere that doesn't have Western values. I mean, you can go to China, right? They just recently, did they even stop the one-child rule where they kill a kid if you got too many kids? And it's communism, and you can't have Christianity. It's illegal. Or it's not, I don't think it's illegal, but you know what I mean? It's basically illegal. And they're still somewhat Westernized nowadays. Go to one of them tribal islands that no one ever sees. There's a reason why. I think it's the Cynic something. Oh man, I'm going to forget it now. But there's an island out there that no missionary's been able to make it to, because every time we show up, they kill us. Right? That who says it's wrong though for them? I love to ask atheists this: how could you stand before any historical location that was, a site of disgusting evil and explain to me that it's evil? What I mean by that is, go to somewhere in the United States where it used to be like a plantation. Stand there where hundreds of slaves were most likely killed, brutally treated, whipped, and disrespected. How do you say that is objectively evil? I know how to say it, because they were made in the image of God, and therefore they deserve the respect and just freedom that a person made in the image of God does. In an atheist worldview, all you can say is, I think it's wrong, because I wouldn't want that to happen to me. But if the atheistic worldview is correct, let's just say we're all evolved from monkeys and chimpanzees and whatever, and we come from space dust and just all randomness. Why is it immoral that I, an evolved monkey, put another evolved human being in a cage? Why does my human evolved monkey brain have to listen to what someone else's human evolved monkey brain says? If I'm crossing a bridge and a person is crossing the bridge and I say, I want to kill you and take all your money, why do I care about his opinion? So I love that Bizzle, in a very subtle and simple way, says, I am the checklist. I am right. Wrong is whatever you're left with. You don't get to check me. You don't get to check me to your standard because it's my standard. People love to try and check God as if God must obey their standard.
I am life. You without me is what death is. I am the judge. You answer me. If I throw lightning, who throws it back at me? No.
I mean, that's no breakdown needed. Just
And if all this falls, who can stand but me? You go to the cross for you cross-examine me.
Oh my goodness. Every time I hear that, I swear to you, it's one of the dopest lines ever said ever. And it makes me so sad when people hear this for the first time and they don't point that out. I've watched people listen to this song that aren't really Christian, and I don't expect them to get it. But do you hear what he said? He said, you go to the cross. So the lyrics on screen, they're completely wrong. Let me see how it shows up on the prior page.
Cross-examine. You go to the cross for you cross-examine.
So he says, you say, I made mistakes, you mistake in me. Like I just said, nothing God does is wrong. People try to come to him like, you did this wrong, you should have did this. But then he says, he says before that, you go to the cross before you cross-examine me. I love that line. Because what people are doing is they're sitting there trying to cross-examine God, trying to judge God as if they're innocent, as if they have the right to stand before him in the first place. And I love that Bizzle uses this moment from the point of view of God saying, hey, before you try and even cross-examine me, why don't you go take your own punishment? Remember, I went to the cross for you, but you want to reject me? You can go to the cross before you cross-examine me. That's so powerful. That is so powerful. Next time you're about to question God, next time you're going to get angry at God, next time you're going to say something negative to God, even my fellow Christians that go through those struggles, remember that. Ask yourself, would I go to the cross before I say this to God? Because he went to the cross for me. Let's go.
Me. You say I made mistakes, you mistaken me. You made gods out of men who were clay to me. You put lives over lives that you ain't create, then feel away because all flesh the same to me.
So now Bizzle is going from who he is. So remember, he said, let me tell you who I am, basically, right? So I'm the creator. I gave you your lungs. I gave you this. Who are you to challenge me? So now he's rolling into addressing the claims of Joyner. So Joyner was saying, like I said, he said, give us back Tupac, take Donald Trump and take this person and give us back this person. And he's saying, you made gods. Let me go back.
Feel who were clay to me.
You made gods out of men who are clay to me. So these people that you lift up, they're just clay to me. Then he says, you put lives over lives that you ain't create. And we do this. We think one life is more valuable. God, why'd you take this person that I care about? Why not take that person I don't care about? Because my feelings are the only thing that matters. We are very selfish and narcissistic in our prayers sometimes. We pray as if God doesn't have any other children. I remember the other day I was watching this competition show, and this person is like doing this thing, trying not to be eliminated. And she's like saying, God, please, God, please. And I'm just sitting there like, what if the person you're competing with also loves God? Like, do you think God's just gonna be like, well, you're my favorite? And I know that's very small, but even in the grand scheme of things, you can see this happening in Joyner Lucas's instance, right? Take this person, give us back this person. And he's responding saying, you put lives over lives that you ain't create. And I love the very next part.
You put lives over lives that you ain't create, then feel away because all flesh the same to me.
He said, then you feel away because all flesh is the same to me. So you get upset because you've put one life over another life, but yet I don't look at it that way. God doesn't look at us. He shows no partiality. Remember what Paul says in Galatians chapter 2. He says, who they were meant nothing to me, for God shows no partiality. So you might feel away because I took your mom from you or I took your friend from you, but that's because you've lifted people up to me more than others. But to me, all flesh is the same. You're all my creation. Then he steps into one of my favorite points that I've actually used before. He says, what if some of the people you naming to me really ain't who you name them to be or who they claim to be? Listen.
What if some of the people you naming to me wasn't really everything that you made them to be? Or worse, what if they are and I take them with me? Are you telling me it's any better place they could be?
So props to Bizzle on this. I would have loved to know how Joyner Lucas felt when he heard this, because it is such a strong response, but there's so much truth in it and depth in it. Listen what he said. He's not just like, yes, he started with some powerful punches like, you can't question God, sit down, boy. But then he's rolling into these answers and they're legitimate. He said, what if the people, that you're bringing up to me aren't really everything that you make them to be, right? Oh, man, look, why'd you take this person? Man, they're such a great person and they were loyal, they were friendly and all this, but yet what if they're not really like that? What if they were hateful? What if they hated people? What if they hurt people? What if they stole from people? And then he says, or worse, what if they are everything you thought they were and I decided to take them with me? Are you telling me that there's any better place they can be? Like, if you're sitting here saying that the world is terrible, God, why should the world get like this? And then in the same breath saying, why take my mom from me? Wouldn't you want your mom to be in the greatest place ever than here in this terrible world you're complaining about? So I love that Bizzle approaches this from both angles. Okay, you're upset. You've put people on these pedestals. You're upset that I let people die and I take people from this world. But first of all, what if these people ain't everything that you're claiming them to be? And let's say that they are. Why are you upset if I take them with me? Is there any better place that they could be?
Me, it's any better place they could be. Either way, you don't know. You just gotta push through. Cause while you over here saying what I should do, somebody lost somebody last week and came at me the same way saying I should have took you.
Hardest bar in the entire track. And it's not just hard because of the punchline, but that is a question that should knock someone on their feet if they've acted like Joyner has, which I have in my past. He said, either way, you just don't know. You got to push through, right? He's saying you don't know whether that person deserved it or not, because he just got done saying, like, they might be who you thought they were. They might not have been. If they were who you thought they were, then they're with me. Why are you complaining? Right. And then he says, but either way, you got to push through. You keep pushing. And then he reminds him of something. Somebody lost somebody last week and came at me the same way saying I should have took you. You see, we love to ask God for help. And sometimes we step out of that, selflessness and jump into a selfishness area. And our prayers are not only positive for ourselves, but negative for others. And sometimes people straight up pray negative things. And just be honest, we've all been there once in our life, most likely. Imagine how many people right now are praying negatively about you. Like, think about that. What if there's people out there right now praying for your downfall? So if I come to God saying, God, why'd you do this? And man, you should take this person out of here. But man, get rid of this person. They're pain in my butt. And I don't like them like me. I have a troll. A stalker that loves to stalk all my pages and harass me and make fun of me. And I think it's funny. But in the beginning, I was really upset. Like, man, why I got to deal with this person? This is stupid. And I prayed. And I prayed and I prayed. I'm like, Lord, take it from me. But at the same time, why? Why? Let him be there, whatever. Ignore him. Because there's people probably praying to stop me. Let the truth prevail. But I love this. He says, while you was over there doing that, while you was over there complaining, Joyner, somebody else lost somebody last week and they came at me the same way saying I should have took you.
You ask why the good die young, but the truth is none of y'all are good, not one. The only one ever been good's my son. So to answer your question, the good died once. Jesus. What if?
I don't know. That might be one of the hardest too. He said the good die young. Nah, none of y'all good, not one. The only one ever been good is my son. So to answer the question, the good died once. Hey, I'm gonna steal that. I swear, because that is a saying. The good die young. And I love that. Again, I wonder if Joyner actually mentioned the good die young. He probably did, actually. I think he did, actually. So I love that play on words, right? Joyner's complaining about his friends that died. And again, this reminder of that they're not good. No one's good. So if I took him with me, like, chill out, stop complaining. No one deserves life any more than the other. You're all sinners. And then he says, None of y'all are good, not one. The only one ever been good, my son. So to answer your question, the good died once.
If I told you to choose when your mom died, you think you could choose when your mom died? If you put it off 20 years away, 20 years later, when that day came, would you not cry?
I just really want to know how Bizzle thought of these things, man. That's so powerful too. And it's responding. This is how you know the Holy Spirit was with him. The God really helped write this. I believe God really helped write this because check it out. So as I mentioned, Joyner points out the fact that he lost his mother. And this is a thought right here. We've all lost family members before. And a lot of people have a moment with God when that happens. Why'd you take my mom, man? God, why'd you take my dad? Why'd you take my uncle? God, that was too early. And he says, from God's point of view to Joyner, what if I told you to choose when your mom died? You think you could choose when your mom died? If you put it off 20 years away, 20 years later, when that day came, would you not cry? He's saying that no matter what, your mom has to die. And no matter what, when the day comes, you're going to cry. Why are you mad at me? Like, really, no matter what, it has to happen. We all die. I ask you, if you had to choose when would you do it? Would that somehow make it better if you pushed it to the very end?
You couldn't be God, you are not I. My ways are not yours, your thoughts are not mine. You can't even deal with the pressure of your own life when you're not high. Try looking in the God mind.
Oh man, that's something similar to what I tell people. I tell people all the time, like, we can't even plan our next 5 years. Try planning all of eternity. I think it's crazy that people who are so finite and flawed try to say how God should do things. And I like that Bizzle points out that for us, or Joyner, for example, he said, you can't even deal with the pressure of your own life when you're not high. Try looking into God's mind. Right? Because everybody tells God how he should do things, but we can't even handle our own finite life.
See, I love them more than you ever did, more than you ever could. Death doesn't lessen it. Let my own son meet death as the evidence. And I love them all, rap star to the president. The real question is, what you living like? If I punish every sin, would you live tonight?
The real question is, what you living like? Stop telling me about this person over here. Stop telling me about Steve, Joe, Nancy, all them. The real question is, what you living like? If I punish every sin, would you live tonight?
So how you get mad when I get them other folks same chances I give you to get it right? You got a son that one day he'll be a man. You expect him to trust you and he don't understand or even know what you up to. Cause he knows that you love him, right? So trust that I love you.
I swear to you, I love it. I love that. The way that Bizzle even ends it, with this place of love. Like, look, you expect your son to trust you even when he doesn't understand. And he's saying it from God's point of view, like, I love you, Joyner. And I just want you to trust me when you don't understand. And that final part about, if I punished every sin, would you live tonight? And then he said, I let my son meet death to be the evidence that he loves them, loves us. So much power in this entire track. And I've already hit 30 minutes. So I'm trying to get this over quick because I didn't realize this to be so long. But guys, I truly love that because it hits so much biblical truth in it. Nothing in there was exaggerated. Nothing in there was a lie. What did he say stuff that, all right, I'll give it when he said, put the seed in the tree, turn around and did the same thing with your daddy and your daddy sack. Right. So obviously that's him being a little funny with it. And then, if you throw lightning, who throws it back at me? Those little things obviously is Bizzle just having fun with some stuff. However, when it comes to the main message of the entire track, I believe Bizzle definitely gets the pass on rapping as God. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do a track like that, straight up saying, I'm God, this is this and that, and rapping as God from his point of view. That is a very dangerous thing to do because if you slip up, that's not good. On top of that, it's like an expectation. Like, you can't be trash either. Like, you can't go out there and just be trash rapping as God. That'd be terrible. Right. So I think that Bizzle is the only person that I've seen demonstrate the ability to do that. I think it was amazing. I would love to have seen Joyner's response to that, like how he reacted to it. I don't think he responded to it. In fact, I watched Secular reactors react to it that aren't even Christian, and even they were like, yeah, Joyner can't respond to this. This is a whole different level. Like, it's not the normal battle diss. It's not the normal back and forth disrespect. It was a sunning. It was like the ultimate sunning from father to son, but God to Joyner. So amazing track, guys. Like I said, I would love to do more of these where we dive in depth of things. So if there's any videos, music videos, regular videos, anything at all you want to see me look at and react to and talk about and look at it from a biblical point of view. That's the point of this channel, looking at things from a biblical point of view. Put it in the comment section below, hit the like button, hit the share button, all that stuff. And I love you guys. So as always, God bless and go in peace.